Good day, everybody. This is E. Marcel Purtute, and welcome to another edition of Fighting Peaches. On this edition, we're going to preview Georgia State Volleyball's upcoming road contest against Marshall. We're going to speak with Panthers assistant coaches Josh Eckert and Bijonae Jones. And before we get to them, as a reminder to always follow us on, go to the mothership to go to sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. But make sure you look us up under Etienne Marcel Purtute or the Sports Inquirer. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to us on our audio and video host. And that does include SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Just make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our content on there, and we would greatly appreciate it. So the Panthers are coming off of a home sweep of Old Dominion and are working their way up the Sun Belt Conference standings. And in a few moments, we are going to be joined by assistant coaches Josh Eckert and Bijonae Jones as they reflect on the season to date and their upcoming road contest at Marshall. Okay, we are back here on this latest edition of the Fighting Peaches. We're happy to be joined by Joshua and Bijonae from Georgia State Volleyball. As we said in our intro, the team is literally heading to Marshall on the road. So this is a first for the year for us. But just overall impressions, and I know it's just loose. Either one of you can answer these questions. Team coming off of a home sweep, it looked like it was the best volleyball for the squad so far this year. Take me back to last weekend, getting a home sweep, and how you're progressing forward in this year.
Yeah, so getting 2 wins last weekend was huge for us as a program. It was either going to kind of even out our record or take us where we are now at 12-8. So it was a huge confidence boost, of course, but just knowing that it also kind of helped elevate us within our conference standings, as this year we're only taking the top 10 teams. So previous years, volleyball has taken all teams. So with that, we're really fighting for a goal to not only improve Georgia State's record, but to make it to that conference tournament. So I think it was a huge, just kind of like confirmation to our team that we're on the right page, we're on the right track, and we're just slowly continuing on this uphill slope.
Yeah, and we talked with Coach earlier in the year, new coaching staff, turnover of pretty much the entire roster. You have a few holdovers, but how's that been, just having so many new players and a new staff? And has it taken really to this stage to finally find some continuity with the squad?
Yeah, so I can touch on it a little more, as Flavia and I were kind of here in March alone when she got here. So Josh got here in the summer, but it's evening out. I think at first that was what I would say probably like the downfall of our team, was just that lack of like trust and relationship that most teams have had and been able to build off of. Having so many new players and only a few returners, we had to really make sure that they were getting to know each other both on and off the court. But I think that now you're seeing throughout the play where they're starting to say, oh, I know so-and-so is going to get this ball, or they can trust that aspect of it. But it's definitely starting. You can see the glue and the pieces starting to click.
Yeah, and you received a lot of contributions on the offensive end. Keionna, MacKey had a double-double in your last win. Akira, Burt also had 12 kills. What about the offense overall? Obviously, Keionna seems to be the leader in kills, but you've had a balanced attack and gotten a lot of contributions from different players.
Yes, sir. We run a 6-2. So running a 6-2, you're always going to have 3 attackers in the front row at every moment. So that is a key part of our offense. We have very athletic athletes, and individuals that can get up and just terminate kills, just terminate balls. And yes, the offense is very important to what we do.
Yeah, and then also Kaleigh Fitzgerald, had 23 kills and 6 blocks. Actually, had 23 kills for the or 26 digs, what about this team? Yeah, I mixed up my stats there. But just what about her and just on the defensive end and finding continuity and balance on the defensive side?
Kayleigh's a stud. I mean, Kaleigh is very good at what she does. She has a very broad and very high level of IQ when it comes to volleyball. She comes from a volleyball-heavy family, and you can tell by the way she plays. So Kaleigh is one of our captains, and she's a very important anchor with what we do defensively.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the way this is going to work is you're fighting for positioning, but technically you're only, I think, four matches away from first place as far as on the Eastern Division. So the standings are very close.
Yeah.
How's the team approaching this home stretch of the regular season, where a win or loss can really impact your seeding in the conference tournament?
I mean, we talk about it in our locker room. We talk about it in practice. We talk about how pressure is a privilege, and we're not going to stray from it. Facts are facts. Standings are standings. That we need to make sure that they understand how important each match is. Our conference is so competitive to where any day it can be someone's game. It can be off. It can be on. It can be a really great battle. I think, as you kind of seen with us, as we've gone to these 5-set matches, and I think we're shocking a lot of people, and a lot of people are now kind of maybe a little nervous when Georgia State's walking in the gym than prior to, but it's nothing that we're like not talking about, just because it is important for the girls to understand each day we have to go, we have to be on point, and we have talked about that. Right now, within the season, you don't get off days within our standing in our program, and for us trying to like get our way into the tournament. There can be someone who's off, but then that means someone else that needs to come in and do their job. Or maybe if you're off in one position or one skill, then you're picking up in another aspect. So we've had these conversations quite often. And like I said, we talk about how pressure is a privilege and embracing that aspect of the game.
Yeah, and now you're heading to Marshall starting this weekend, a team that is kind of in a similar spot in the standings. Beatrice Cicerelli was just named Defensive Player of the Week in the Sun Belt, a very active middle blocker. Just give me a scouting report on Marshall and what you're going to have to execute well to emerge with some victories.
I'll leave Bijonae answer this one. This is her former team, so.
So as Josh mentioned, I was previously at Marshall for the last 3 years. And as you mentioned, yes, Chica's coming off of a really awesome week blocking. But I think, again, we've been up against some pretty big blockers in our conference. Last week in ODE, we had Maya Conway, and then also their middle as well, who pretty large against our offense. So it's nothing that we're not used to. So I think for us, we've just emphasized that if we can just focus on our side and play our game, that's going to put our team in the best success. Marshall has kind of had few lineups that they put in. So we just talked about making sure we go in and with our discipline and our structure on our side and make sure that we kind of emphasize that it's more about us and less of focus on the scouting report. Of course, we have our keys and our game plan moments, but I think definitely want to focus on our discipline and structure.
Okay. Well, thank you for speaking with us in your travels. Safe travels to Marshall, and hopefully we can catch up later on in the season.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to interview us. We're very thankful, very grateful for this opportunity.
No, thank you. Appreciate the time. All right, and that was Bijonae and Joshua from Georgia State Volleyball, assistant coaches. We thank them for their time and speaking with us while on the road. As always, to follow everything that we do, head to the mothership, to sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look us up. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video host, including YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.